Hey, what's going on, guys? We're GrimVaen, and we're just back to give you like a weekly update. We've been trying out some members, and we've now added a new addition. I think we're gonna go ahead and have Dan, join the band. You know, we've been working on some songs. We've got a couple clips of us working with Dan. We've got a couple clips of us working with some guitar players.
Anyway, so yeah, we're just, working with Dan, getting everything learned. And it was a pretty good process. We tried out a couple different people. I think one of the biggest things that we kind of took away from this is like, just be able to find somebody that not only, is good with their instrument, but is committed and kind of shows up when they need to show up. And that's really been the biggest thing for us, is just finding somebody that's going to be there when you need them to be there and just practicing. And Dan, obviously, is that guy for us. So I think that's probably been the biggest struggle for us, we think.
Right. Because Dan's consistent. He shows up, he works hard, he does his homework to learn the music, to show up next time, to show us that he's learned something new or can play a new part. So we're gonna take that, we're gonna move it on to what we do with our next guitar player. We might not get the person who can shred out of this world, but we're also looking for someone who's consistent, will show up, they are willing to learn the parts. I mean, just someone who even just shows a little bit of interest, because it's really hard to find that nowadays. I mean, they might show a little bit of interest at first, and the next thing you know, they're not as dedicated as they thought they were going to be. And a lot of the times, they think they're going to be more dedicated than they actually are. Yeah. And then they realize how much work it's going to be, then they're out.
When we found Jordan, I just made an ad, and he just showed up, and it was like he was immediately hooked, and he was really into it. And it showed us that he was serious, and obviously that's been good with Dan. So.
I mean, you all got the groove, you got the hook, and I heard it, and it just blasted me in the face. I was like, wow, mind blown. I was like, I want to be part of that.
Do you hate me? Dan, why don't you go ahead and give us a little bit about like your background and influence, because really you didn't come from a background like Cliff and I, to where we've been listening and playing death metal for a long time. Even Jordan, he's been playing black metal.
Like, I came from, jamming in bands with like my dad and others, playing bars, doing like Creedence Clearwater and shit like that, and moved on from there to like a country band that's doing original folk and country, just like nothing like this.
So, and we weren't necessarily looking for somebody who was like, I just want to play nothing but death metal. We kind of want to bring somebody in who could actually bring something different to offer, who doesn't want to play the same death metal riffs, play the same kind of stuff that we wanted to. We wanted someone to bring something different and flavor, I should say. And Dan's already proved to us that he is going to bring a different kind of style of bass playing to our music. I think it's gonna accent us really well.
Yeah, because we had tried out other people, and it just it didn't really flow well, and people were just kind of like wishy-washy, and they didn't really kind of have their own style of bass playing. But you definitely do, and
I'm curious, what was your biggest problem with previous bass players?
I think it was just they would show up and they would be good, but they were kind of afraid to really get in the mix and to try to get with Dakota and kind of see what he was doing and to kind of work off of that. I think they were just they were so accustomed to just kind of sitting in the background and just kind of not really jumping in to make their part their own. They were just like, oh, well, I'll just follow what you're doing and just kind of do the same old. But it's we want somebody that's gonna have the balls to really do their own thing and to take risks and to try parts that sometimes it won't work, but sometimes it'll make a part that's just way better.
out. I'll show them the riff. They'll learn the riff, and they will try to play it note for note. Dan was the first one who kind of would learn the riff, but the second time we played through it, he was playing something completely different that was in his head to the riff. The bass players honestly seem to be a little more dedicated than the guitar players, because the guitar players, we've had dedication problems.
Yeah,
they don't want to do it. They don't want to put the time into it. They don't want to play the shows.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. And that's the difference, I guess, between the bass players and the guitar players. It has shown the most initiative by far so far. So,
Oh yeah.
you know,
It's working out well.
once again, we are GrimVaen from Southern Ohio. That's the weekly update.
Awesome.
Fucking commentary. While we're just sitting here looking at the camera all awkward and shit.
It's just me doing commentary, and I'm just breathing real loud. Like,
Just like, what the fuck is going on? They're not talking.